So that's why they do the sun dance, to bring it back from the state of death or darkness or blackness, like the Kaaba, which is why they circle around 7 times, because they're trying to bring back the sun. So a cabal is a black or dark group committing evilness and conspiring against others. And we have the black K-bull or the Ka-bull. And also the dance of Macabre, or the dance of death, was also inspired by what was known as the Black Plague or Black Death. And during the dark black night, we go to a cabaret show because they are showing us the comedy, song, and dance of the jesters. And then we have the dark, evil Chupacabra that comes out at night. So you see the cab means black, like in Cabernet Sauvignon, as well as Ka-met, which is the ancient word for Egypt, which means black. And then we have the Coffee, which is black coffee. And then we have the word color. People say that black is not a color, but the truth is the very word color means black, which is why they call a black man a colored man. Or when you get a tan, they say, I got some color. And we can't talk about the color black and the dance macabre without talking about Michael Jackson and his dance of Thriller, the evil death dance. And you can clearly see the symbolism of the death dance in blood on the dance floor. And Michael Jackson actually played the character of the Hanged Man, which is the scarecrow that hangs in the golden fertility of the pumpkin patch or the golden corn patch. So Michael was the 7th child, and he is the son of Jack. You see, Michael is the archangel for Sunday, which is for the sun, the 7th day. So they sacrificed Michael Jackson on the night of the black moon, and they did it at high noon during the 13th hour, which was a sun sacrifice. So Michael Jackson, the son of Jack, always dressed as the Joker or the Jester. So you see, he was the fool for a day, the boy king who thought he was king. That's why they have him pictured on the throne, and they have the symbolism of the boy king. And in Vanity Fair, they have the fallen king or the slain king. And they even say, the boy who would be king. And of course, this jester was known for his phallic fertility. And of course, all jesters will always be associated with young children or little babies, which is exactly why Michael Jackson was known for being with little kids. So you'll notice the symbolism of Ronald McDonald is just like the scarecrow, the stripes of the red and the white, or the orange and the white, the red-capped jester, exactly like the Mad Hatter. So you see, Ronald McDonald is really the evil jester, the Joker, the clown, and he has all the symbolism of the golden sun. So you'll notice that Ronald McDonald carries the symbolism of Halloween or Samhain or Samhain. So through the symbolism, McDonald's clearly shows the 8, which is Sabbaths, and where the M is known as Samhain or Samhain, what we call Halloween, which is All Hallows Eve, which is an ancient Druidic Celtic festival celebration, a time of ancient ritual animal sacrifice as well as human sacrifice. It is one of the ancient fire festivals and one of the 8 which is Sabbaths throughout the wheel of the year. It is a time between times, like the time between day and night. It is opposite of Beltane. So Samhain or Samhain is known as the Celtic New Year, what we call Halloween, which is actually Night of the Living Dead. Known as the Night of the Living Dead, when the ancient ancestors rise from the grave and walk amongst the living, which is exactly why on Halloween we dress as the living dead. So now you know why Halloween is associated with slaying, sacrificing, and murdering. And like all pagan holidays, it always involves the children. And of course, Halloween is centered around the decapitation or the capping of the head of the pumpkin, which of course, again, we find the Jack, which is exactly why it's called the Jack-o'-lantern.
Now the day after this was called All Saints' Day or All Hallows' Day. So the night before was Hallows' Eve or Halloween, a combination of ancient Celtic or Irish lore and a harvest festival. I suppose the real symbol of Halloween these days is the jack-o'-lantern. Its history is also Irish. You see, there was this guy named Jack, and he had a terrible reputation for playing practical jokes on people. When he died, he went to the underworld, and he dared to play a trick on the devil. The devil got so mad he kicked him out and made him wander over the earth at night with only the light of a lantern to search for his lost soul. Some say old Jack only had a pumpkin to carry his light in, hence the name Jack-o'-lantern. Now, we also have Jack to thank for the tradition of trick-or-treat because he was such a trickster.
So once again, we have the very essence of trick-or-treating that comes from the Jack, the trickster, the joker, the Jacob, the Yaakov. So now you'll understand the story of A Nightmare Before Christmas, where he travels to the underworld, and he is the Pumpkinhead. He is the Scarecrow Pumpkinhead, or the Pumpkin King. And you see, this is exactly why his name is Jack Skellington. And we even have the comic book character Halloween Jack. So it's no wonder that the Jack in the Box is evil. So a slave was known as a jack, and a fugitive slave was known as a runaway jack, which gives us our history of Jack in the Box, which is exactly why Jack in the Box has the Jack as the character or the jester of their company. So many fast food establishments always have their Jack or their jester to fool us. And then we have the famous Jack in the Box or the Cracker Jack, all dressed in blue, of course, and they always include the surprise or the trick. And in the commercials, they used the real Jack Jester. And of course it included the children. And notice the Jack in the Box that goes up and down with the red cap. Just like this other commercial that shows the elevator that goes up and down. And of course it uses the little child as the advertisement. And of course it includes a little pedophilia. So you'll notice that when we're talking about Jack, the theme is always bouncing up and down. So this is exactly why when we do jumping jacks, we bounce up and down. And I'm sure you're familiar with Jack be nimble, Jack be quick, Jack jumped over the candlestick. And you'll notice that Jack be nimble is jumping over the fire, exactly like they did in ancient times, or like when the cow jumps over the moon. They would take the cattle and carry them and walk them and jump them over the fire for fertility rites. And this ancient ritual is still practiced to this very day. And now you know why they jump over the bull in the air. And we see this ancient pagan fertility ritual in The Wicker Man.
Take the baby beside you, fun and fun belong. Fire, Stephen, fire, Stephen, make the baby strong.
And children dancing naked. They do love their divinities. But they are naked. Naturally, it's much too dangerous to jump through the bar with your clothes on.
So now we have the game of jacks. And you'll notice the box is six-sided, which is sexagesimal. And of course, this is exactly why the jack themselves show you the six. So the jack is showing you the four cardinal directions and the north and the south pole, exactly like Ezekiel's wheel. So now you know why when you were a kid, you would spin the jack around and around. And by the way, this is why Cracker Jacks would have the spinning top toy inside. And of course, the game of jacks has the red ball, which represents the sun. And of course, it bounces up and down as it travels through the houses of the zodiac, or the annual year. So once again, we see the theme of bouncing up and down. And you'll find the hexagon or the sexagesimal in Samurai Jack. Samurai Jack and his phallic sword. And of course they show you the ball bouncing up and down. And by the way, they had a show called Cracker Jack, which was a British children's comedy. And of course he's dressed in blue. And of course the Jack Dempsey fish is blue. And then we have the house that Jack built, which is referring to the house that Jacob built. Which brings me to the patriarch Jack in Meet the Fockers.
There's always been a patriarch to lead our family through good times and bad. I've come to realize that the next in line to the Burns throne is you. So I ask you, Greg, are you prepared to be the Godfather?
This Christmas,
I want you to represent our new drug, Sustengo.
It's an erectile dysfunction medicine.
Do you know any sexually frustrated old dudes?
No.
Little Fockers.
So you see, it's actually a film about carrying on the genes of the genetic throne. And why do you think his nickname is Gay? It's referring to Gaelic, which is Irish, which is exactly why we have Jack Bairns, because the very last name of Bairns means the Irish Celtic chieftain, the tribal chief, meaning the raven, the old bird. So once again, we have the evil Jack, and of course, he works for the CIA. And of course, their logo is blue, exactly like the flag of Scotland. And of course, the United Nations is represented by the color blue. So we find that the Royals use royal blue. And of course, on the 11th hour of the 11th year on Beltane, they got married and they drove the blue Royal L car. And of course, Kate Middleton's favorite color is black and blue, and she is made to represent the Princess Diana. She fits the exact same position as the goddess, which is the moon goddess Diana, and her name is Kate, which comes from Hecate, the goddess of witchcraft and magic. And just like the moon goddess Princess Diana, who was born on a full moon and died on a black moon, Kate Middleton, the new moon goddess of darkness, now wears the blue sapphire ring, exactly like Princess Diana did. And of course, sapphire is the gemstone of Saturn L. And this is the exact same blue sapphire that was called the heart of the ocean in the Titanic, which of course comes from the Titan god, Cronus Saturn L. So Princess Diana was chosen as the host for the mother of the baby of the beast, exactly like Kate Middleton. The beast who impregnates the goddess, exactly like Rosemary's baby. And exactly like the beast who impregnated Sharon Tate. And it's the same story with Bella in the Twilight series, where in Breaking Dawn, she is impregnated by the beast. And of course, we're dealing with black and white. And the black is known as Jacob or Jacob, the evil black jack that's trying to steal the crown or the prize. And from these character actors, they make fake dolls or idols for the children to worship. And in the film Pirates of the Caribbean, we have Captain Jack Sparrow, the evil Jack who is trying to steal the crown of Elizabeth Swann. And again, we have the jester Jack and his phallic sword, and of course he is the traveling fool. And of course, the Jack has to use his phallic sword to slay the primordial goddess of the deep abyss. So perhaps now you will understand why Jack and his phallic sword is fighting the goddess of the deep as she swallows up all of the semen. And of course, from the character jesters, they make the dolls or the idols. And by the way, one of my viewers pointed out that the Jack or the Joker of the Dark Black Knight was playing the role of the jester policeman. And let's not forget that they also made character dolls or idols